but
Yeah, if they just put autocue upstairs.
host will have to pay eventually, but it's reasonably priced and very reliable if you're a small business.
Didn't you say you were off to China? Fancy meeting you here.
Yes.
The free trial lasts 30 days, which should be plenty for you to figure out if it's going to be any use to your business or not. After that, there is a paid monthly meeting, but it comes at a price. As well as being able to record the meeting, you can also share your screen or hand over control to an attendee. So it's really good for working collaboratively. With the Easter holidays behind us, it's time to start planning revision, otherwise you'll be cramming for those exams. ExamPal is a smartphone app that's on Apple's iOS right now but arriving imminently to Android and contains exam dates for UK, US and worldwide students to help you plan and schedule your studies so you're ready for those exams.
It's not hard to tell that I learned my lesson well.
Revising for your exams can be a daunting experience. This app takes the pressure right off by letting you plan your workload months in advance, rather than waiting till the last moment to cram it all in once you get your exam timetables from your teachers. The app syncs to popular online calendar apps and has access to key revision tips as well as homework alerts and countdown timers to the various D-days on your timetable. And parents can keep an eye on the deadlines too by sharing an iCal or Google Calendar schedule. I showed you an amazing app for iPhone back in 2010 that was made by Microsoft, PhotoSynth. It's easily one of the best photo apps I've ever seen on any phone, but believe it or not, Microsoft have only just released it on their own platforms, Windows Phone 7 and 8. Now this app makes taking full 360-degree images as easy as looking around you.
I can feel you all around with that can make me breathing.
You don't even need to tap any buttons. Just move the camera to a new position and the app will capture another bit of your surroundings, blending the edges seamlessly together.
My hands float up.
Images can be posted to the PhotoSynth website for sharing, which is worth taking a stroll around anyway for the latest amazing landscapes that people have been uploading.
Hello, the weekend gets off to a dry start, but it doesn't last very long. Rain advancing northwards during Saturday, the start then of a very unsettled weekend to come. Yes, temperatures are heading up, but we're all going to get rain at times. The wind strengthening as well, gales or severe gales, especially in western areas. So after the dry start to the day, we see the rain pushing up across England and Wales into Northern Ireland as it progresses with the strengthening wind. By 4 p.m, parts of northern England, the further north you are into Scotland are still dry, but eventually it turns wetter during the evening. Maybe the odd spot of rain, though, from thicker cloud in northeast Scotland, where we're just at 6 degrees in Aberdeen. But elsewhere, double figures, although we have the wind and the rain. Very mild start to Sunday. Further rain at times to north and west, trying to edge east, but fizzling out as it does so. Increasing cloud ahead of that in eastern England, but still with a bit of hazy sunshine. We could see temperatures into the high teens, but it will be a blustery day. Again, very windy across western areas in particular. And there's more online.
What will everyone be talking about tomorrow?
With BBC News, you don't need to wait to find out.
We'll tell you which stories are making the front pages.
And explore the stories behind the headlines.
That's the paper.
Hello, the weekend gets off to a dry start, but it doesn't last very long.
If you need to know, now.
closer and closer.
Americans can say what they want, the entire world community can say what they want, but it's not going to change the hard fact of life. North Korea has got nuclear devices, and they are working hard to develop a full-scale nuclear and missile capabilities.
There is a sad logic to North Korea's nuclear ambitions. These pictures, smuggled out of the north, show the reality of life there now. Ox carts have replaced tractors, firewood is the only fuel. While billions are spent on the military, markets are virtually empty. Nuclear weapons are the ultimate guarantee that America will not try to topple a regime that inflicts this misery on its own people. Rupert Wingfield-Hayes, BBC News in Seoul.
Let's go to France next, where the upper house of parliament has approved a bill to legalise same-sex marriage. It's now certain to become law after a final vote in the lower house, which is expected in the next few weeks. The bill has caused a great deal of controversy in France, with huge demonstrations both for and against in Paris, from where Hugh Schofield reports.
With a show of hands, the French upper house took the gay marriage bill one step closer to becoming law.
Merci. Abstention. Chers collègues, le Sénat a adopté.
My dear colleagues, the Senate has adopted the bill in favour of same-sex marriage.
The debate had once again been passionate. Government supporters lining up behind the Justice Minister Christian Taubira, who from the start has been a driving force behind the change.
J'avance dans ce texte depuis plusieurs mois maintenant.
I have been progressing on this bill for months now. I listen to society carefully. I am more and more aware of the importance of this bill, and I can feel the emotion at this crucial moment where we realise that at last we open this right, at last we recognise this freedom, at last our Republican institution will be enriched with new citizens that have been excluded until now.
For several months now, the gay marriage and adoption bill has polarised France. Opponents surprising the country with the scale of their demonstrations in Paris. Twice they brought out some 500,000 onto the streets. In the Senate, those against the bill say the fight is not yet over.
The parliamentary process continues, so we will keep talking with the French people who seem to change their position, as the last polls show a majority of French people opposed to this bill. So nothing is definitive and the debate continues.
Opponents plan a new show of strength in May, but the government now wants to hasten the bill through. The second final reading in the National Assembly has been brought forward to next week, after which its passage into law will be a formality. Hugh Schofield, BBC News, Paris.
The United States has published a list of 18 Russian officials it's banned from entering America because of alleged human rights abuses linked to the death of the Russian lawyer Sergei Magnitsky. He died in a Russian jail in 2009 after being arrested for tax evasion. Russia had warned that making the names public could severely damage relations, but the White House spokesman Jay Carney says those involved in the lawyer's death needed to be punished.
I would say that the 2009 death of lawyer Sergei Magnitsky in pretrial detention in Moscow was a tragedy, and the investigation into his death has yielded no visible result. Russian officials implicated directly in Magnitsky's imprisonment and prison officials directly involved in decisions that led to his death remain unpunished. This administration is committed to working with the Congress to advance universally recognized human rights worldwide, and we will use the tools in the Magnitsky Act and other available legal authorities to ensure that persons responsible for the maltreatment and death of Mr. Magnitsky are barred from traveling to the United States and doing business here.
Hundreds of children have died and thousands of others infected in one of the worst cases of lead poisoning in the world in northern Nigeria. Here's our Nigeria correspondent, Tommy Oladipo.
Some of the worst affected victims of Zamfara's lead poisoning crisis. Symptoms here include paralysis and even brain damage. In the village of Sumke, 4-year-old Umaima can neither hear nor speak.
And we're back. You're watching BBC World News from Broadcasting House Live here in London. I'm Peter Dobbie. As you probably worked out, during the past, 8 minutes or so, we've had one or two minor technical difficulties. We have sorted those and we're back broadcasting live now from Broadcasting House, as I say. We move on. Hundreds of children have died and thousands of others have been infected in one of the worst cases of lead poisoning in the world in northern Nigeria. In the last 4 years alone, around 460 children under the age of 5 have died from lead exposure in the province of Zamfara, where poverty-stricken communities have resorted to illegally mining gold. Our Nigeria correspondent Tommy Oladipo has been